house on time. Edwin Obuya looking a little broke from paying extra for his bread.
Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Philip Murutu. Maze,
Good morning.
Chai na mkate wamepandisha. O watapandisha.
The way the government had started, from the first year they started with introducing these huge taxes, there was a possibility that they're going to increase the taxes more and more and more. And there's this issue of IMF. IMF, it seems as if it is controlling our fiscal policy.
Right.
And so each and everything they are proposing, it seems like the government is accepting to burden Kenyans with these huge taxes.
And you the one who said on this show, Obuya, like, ngoja hamujaona
Nabado.
You said it.
I said it because look at the tax like for the motor vehicle and the insurance.
Kwanza Nick haongei hiyo. Ana gari kama 4.
Na ni 2.5 of that value, the value of your car. Imagine your car is 2 million.
Sasa kama zangu vile zimefika sijui 25 million. Sasa tafanya nini?
So 2.5% of the value of that car, it's capped at 100. That's the maximum.
Right.
So kama ni more than 100, you have to pay 100k, and then it's capped at 5,000. The minimum you can pay is 5,000
a year.
And those are huge taxes that are going to affect the common man. And it's we've been lamenting about this thing that they are taxing the middle class over and over and over and over again. Wamekuja mshahara, there's nothing they can get from there because kama mshahara yote imeisha. Wamekuja kwa VAT, wameweka VAT yote. VAT at least every Kenyan is paying, and then that's now this the proposed tax kwa motor vehicle. It's going to affect lots and lots of Kenyans, middle class for that matter.
Murutu nikubaya.
They are making driving an elitist affair,
Yeah.
Someone was arguing we have this bad character of borrowing from other countries and not understanding why they have such laws in the first place. You get one. Probably if this was borrowed anywhere was because maybe someone was controlling missions and stuff like that. But for us, whoever crafted this crafted with the intention of collecting money from Kenyans. And now we have the fuel levy, which does almost the similar job as whatever they are proposing. But now even the
road maintenance
levy that is on petroleum, on every liter of petrol. The government collects more money with that than the money they even intend to collect with this. So whoever advised or whoever borrowed, wherever they got this from, I think he got it right. He got it wrong because if they told us exactly the setup within which this law was being applied wherever it was gotten from, you will understand that it is for a totally different reason, not for collecting taxes and bridging the deficits that we have in the what is it
3.9 trillion. If you are paying that tax and you are going to drive on a road that is smooth and that is signage is there's everything,
there's no potholes,
that will
not be washed away by floods.
You are paying that tax and you are sure that your student or your kid when he's going to school is going to get the best of the education, that when your mother or your shosho is sick in the village she's going to get the best of the medical care. Those things are not there. That's the tragedy. A person will come and tell you that Kenyans, we are not taxed that much. You look at European countries, the taxes they are paying, but when you go to those European countries, there's almost everything public is subsidized. There's subsidized transport, there's subsidized medical care, there's subsidized everything, because the taxes they are paying, they are being put in good use, and those services that the residents of those countries are getting, you don't feel that pinch of paying the tax. But here utalipa tax a shift is 2.75%. Na ukienda hospitali bado utapata service.
Hakuna kitu.
So you have again to pay for private insurance.
On top of that,
Yes, you have to pay private insurance so that ukikuwa mgonjwa hauendi kwa public hospital, unaenda kwa private insurance or kwa private hospital. You are paying for education, the taxes that are supposed to helping to make sure that watoto wako shuleni, you are paying, but still you can't take your kid to a public school because you don't trust the what is happening in those public schools. So what do? You take your kid to a private school. Those are more and more expenses that you are putting on yourself. And so if it were that we were getting the services that we require, that the transport, nikitaka kutoka Machakos paka hapa, there will be transport reliable and subsidized, I would be okay with paying the taxes. But the fact is that sasa hata nikilipa hiyo tax ni kama natupa hiyo pesa, then again najipanga sasa na yangu ndio nianze sasa survive town.
In fact, we're looking at the buildings right now in the morning of kids back in school. There's no coat of paint. The desks, I don't know who made them. It's such a disappointment.
Is a case of, no value for
any money.
For the money.
for the poor people.
Yes. Recently, we had patients complaining in hospitals about being forced to agree that their information be shared to KRA through these ATMs. Yeah. You see, when they complained, I think the government had no idea that there was a problem in the law with regards to that. In this finance bill, they have amended their proposals to amend that data protection bill, in that Jeff, wewe ukienda hospitali, it is no question now. It is KRA has to know whatever it is that that you have, because now if you refuse, like the cases we have had, people would refuse, would decline signing those forms. Right now, you can't decline because it is criminalized according to what is contained in the finance bill now.
That's madness.
Yes. And these are more ways of getting into Kenyans' pockets, because this data is meant for KRA.
The problem with kupeleka tax juu sana is that people will get for alternatives.
Yeah.
If Tosh has been buying Gilbis for at 1200
Yes.
and unapandisha by to 1500 na hana hiyo pesa, ataenda kwa drink ile ingine.
In fact, I saw him buying a lot of pineapples and watching YouTube how to make home-based champagne.
Home-based whiskey.
So you get alternatives. Kama umepandisha mafuta sana, people will not be driving the cars. People will leave the cars at home, and that will then eat into the monies that you instead you'll have got from fuel. Yes, and we saw when the prices were highest, you would think that the monies the government will be getting will be higher, but it went literally went down.
It backfired.
A very typical example. When they decided that they will be going for people who use money transfer services, you saw these pay bills and stuff going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
People decided, now
What a
guy.
You go to eateries nowadays, they tell you we don't pay via M-Pesa.
Yeah.
You just bring cash, because people have realized this is where the government is getting our little and
Na ni wizi tu 4 bob 3 bob 4 bob. Unajua, you wouldn't realize.
You deny yourself again. The government risks denying itself.
Yes.
The
A lot of
revenues
revenue.
It's like shooting itself in the foot.
Yes.
How in God's earth did Linturi survive an impeachment? Guys.
through a special through the committee.
So you take it from Parliament, you give it to a committee, you put 11 members.
The strings were pulled the moment they suggested this thing goes to committee.
It was over.
It was over.
I think Kimani Ichung'wah played games with the parliament as a whole, because I remember even when the names the committee members were suggested, the MPs were not comfortable. They were saying, no, this is you want to kill the motion even before it is investigated, and that's exactly what happened. All the Kenya Kwanza MPs that were proposed to that that committee stood on the floor of the House saying that they don't agree with this motion. They don't agree. They don't see why Linturi is being investigated. And so to take the same people who say who are already made up their mind that Linturi is clean, to take them to go and investigate
and
that
make
issue
them a majority
and
in
make
that
them
committee.
and so and there were 6 Kenya Kwanza MPs, then there's 1 Jubilee MP, and then there are only 4 ODM MPs, 3 ODM and then 1 Wiper, and only those 4 voted to say that Linturi should go home. But the 7 did not vote, and you hear those accusations flying around. Oh, there's money that exchanged hands, but the fact is that I think the die was cast at the moment Kimani Ichung'wah proposed those names, and it was unfortunate that they couldn't change those names after Kimani Ichung'wah had proposed them, because the speaker said you can't amend, and you have to pass it as a whole 11 member. If you amend, it means that the motion has collapsed, and so they passed those names begrudgingly. They didn't want to pass those names, but once they passed those names, then it was as good as done. And during the hearings, you are treated to lots of drama, lots of bedroom issues. Media hates me. Linturi says, things that were not the main purpose of the investigation.
Right.
So,
Sideshows.
There are actually sideshows. The first and second day were sideshows. The question is, was there fake fertilizer? Yes. Were farmers affected? Yes. Then who takes the responsibility? Those were the questions that needed to be answered, that were not answered.
And nobody has taken.
Interestingly, some of the members that were in that committee, according to the mover, Wamboka says, he even got farmers from regions led by some of the leaders that were in that committee, like Anabkoi, Chepkonga's place,
Malava,
Njendi of Malava. He got farmers with fake fertilizer to come and say, yes, this is fake fertilizer I got from NCPB, there before their eyes. But here you are saying it was unsubstantiated. Again, for them to have locked out crucial witnesses, which I think, if allowed, would have made it impossible even for those that were not supporting the impeachment of Linturi. If they had allowed the PS Agriculture to be called, and the CEO of one of those companies that was accused of having supplied fake fertilizer, if that was allowed, if that had been allowed, maybe they would have even been ashamed to stand against them.
I don't think so. They made up their mind long time ago.
They took it up as a government agenda or something.
Yes.
This parliament is just a rubber stamp, isn't it?
That's now the tragedy.
There's no parliament.
When they voted 139 against 36, we thought, wait a minute, this may be today they are going to go bipartisan. But once the voting was done, I think Kimani Ichung'wah realized, hapa naweza poteza huyu mtu. And it was turned Kenya Kwanza mountain region were feeling that Kenya Kwanza Rift Valley region is trying to embarrass them. And so because the whole Rift Valley region, apart from 102, Akina Chepkonga and the rest, the whole of those people voted to remove Linturi from office. The Kenya Kwanza MPs from Rift Valley. Yeah. And it was not taken lightly by the Kenya Kwanza MPs from central region, who thought, I think you are trying to embarrass us. Chirichiri is having issues. We've never been here. Dani Murkomen has had issues. We've never been here.
Right.
Why Linturi? And so I think they caucused and said, no, we have to fight back. And that's when Ichung'wah went and looked for George Murugara, who was vehemently opposed to the motion, looked for Jerry Maina, who she didn't want that motion. He went for Rachel Nyamai, didn't want the motion. Malulu Injendi didn't want the motion. Rachel Nyamai didn't want the motion. And so it was, once the committee was constituted, the motion was dead. The thing is with impeachment motion, it's not about evidence per se. You just need to believe that Jeff happened to do ABC. It is not a court of law. It is as much as is a judicial process, it's also a political process. And so, what Wamboka was trying to do was trying to prove that who takes the political responsibility of the mess that happened during the fertilizer scandal.
Right.
The PS could be wrong and take, that he can be taken to court and everything. There's a director somewhere or NCPB director could be wrong and he can be taken to court. Like right now, they're already battling a court case. But who takes political responsibility? Where does the buck stop? When you come to agriculture ministry, that is what MP Wamboka was trying to do. Although I must also admit that his thought process during the evidence giving was not as clear. We were treated to lots and lots of drama, and Linturi managed to take him away from the fertilizer issue to Mary Ann Keitani issue and the bedroom, and how people have been saying ABCD. They have been painted a bad name. Is a dog that has been given a bad name over and over and over.
It's like Stormy Daniels.
Yes, and so he was trying to make Kenyans believe that this is just part of that scheme,
right?
Of trying to.
And he succeeded.
And he succeeded at least.
So he's off the hook now.
He is.
The MPs, I pity those that were for the impeachment of Linturi, because this is what Kenyans will be told: MPs save Linturi. No one will say Kenya Kwanza saved.
Correct.
Yes,
Linturi.
Correct.
Parliament saves Linturi. That is the unfortunate thing about it.
Shame. Limuru 3. What's going on? What's going on?
I think there's lots and lots of underground rumbles in the mountain right now.
It's rumbling, huh?
It's rumbling, and Ichungwa and Gashagwa, I think they're on one side. The fact is that in anybody associated with President William Ruto right now doesn't want any alternative voice that comes from this central. They want a voice to be coming from one command, and that command is either William Ruto or Rigathi Gachagua. But there are those rumblings, people who have been saying, once even a key ally of Gachagua once said that they made a mistake to go to Kenya Kwanza without having a regional party, because they feel that hawana chao, they don't, hawana sufuria yao, hawana nini, they're just there as visitors. And when you are there as a visitor, mtu anaweza kuambia, ndugu, umekaa hapa sana, si ukanyage nje. Watoto wangu wamekuja. So ebu kanyaga. So there are those agitation for having a party, a regional party, such that they then work with Kenya Kwanza as having a party. But there are those resistances also, like I said, from Gachagua, and that's something also President William Ruto will never want, that there are parties formed then to come and negotiate with him. I think that will give him a lot of headache. So there are those frustrating the initiative of having the Limuru 3, but I don't know if it's going to happen.
But I heard Gachagua the other day echoing the words of BBI, saying,
yes,
one man, one vote, 1 shilling.
We have these bad manners in our politics of asking, they tell you jump high, you do not ask why, but you say,
just jump.
How
high
you get. So at the time, they didn't want anything from the other side to make sense.
Right.
You oppose not because it does not make sense, not because it is not beneficial to anyone, but because it is coming from people who are not supposed to say anything when you are in the seat, And now, the chicken have come home to roost.
Yeah.
Now they have to face the reality. They have to now come back to the people and tell them, hey, and from the onset, in fact, that is why it was beating logic, why they would even oppose such. From the onset, when we come to boasting of numbers, mlima imekuwa mstari wa mbele. So one would wonder why this was not making sense then,
And now
it is making a lot of sense.
That's the tragedy with our politics, is that, we don't really care about the common man as much. No. We care about what makes sense. How will I benefit
myself?
How will I benefit as a politician?
How tough does it make me look?
Yes. And so, MK is saying, we have a deputy president, we have majority leader, we have how many CSS we have. Why are we crying about one man, one shilling? Why can't we work for the man, the common man with the powers that the president has given us? And so everybody is trying to move as close to the president as possible. When you see that you are protecting the interests of the president, then you appear to look good. But nobody cares about the common man
at all.
Those are the same MPs that passed a law that was giving KRA mandate to go and tax avocados and everything.
Yes.
And when there was a hue and cry, they said hiyo kitu inakuanga kubwa hata tusomangi yote. They don't read the whole of finance bill, so they just pass.
The kids back to school, guys. I mean, it's so tragic in some places, huh?
It is.
It's going to take back learning for months.
It is. We saw a story of Ombaka primary, and watoto wako shuleni, wazazi wako kwa hiyo shule, they are eating and amedemarcate huko ni kambi, huko ni wanasoma. Even if hata kama unasoma, are you learning? Ama unaendanga tu class because the government wants to appear like schools
a ritual,
are open.
And how far have they gone with the helping the people who are displaced? Because they say this, but now, have you seen even one thing on news where people have been moved from these camps?
Why do we have 44 schools still
unopened?
Those are primary.
Yes.
29 secondary. A total of 71. So those schools have not been, even the schools that have opened. The tragedy is that you open just because it's a ritual. Kusemekana tu shule zimefunguliwa. But sahi capitation money haijatumwa.
No.
Sasa kama capitation money haijatumwa, au wanafunzi wanaenda kufanya nini? How are the principals going to ensure that people are learning?